All right. So thank each and every one of you for joining us again. This will be our last Zoom until January 7th. So I want to start off by saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I want to be the first one to tell you guys that. We seriously appreciate each and every one of you ambassadors for your support and continued support each and every week, for joining in and absorbing all the information that's getting passed around. We know it takes up quite a bit of your time, but it is appreciated. And everybody's watching. Everybody's watching everything that you're doing. And hats off to everybody that's really put their heads down and went to put their business to the next level. So thank you guys. Remember your common courtesy on your mic, if possible. Keep that thing muted. And I'm going to pass this on to Jeff, and we'll get this started.
Billy, thanks very much. And I would like to be the second person then to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. First announcement is because of the holidays over the next couple of weeks, this unfortunately will be our last Zoom until after the New Year break. So we'll be back, I believe, on January 7th. But again, always available to help anybody and answer questions and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. I think the big announcement came out last Friday, I believe. And so we haven't really discussed it on Zoom yet, and we're going to be talking about it tonight. And I'm talking about the big new promotion. And I want to make sure everybody understands some of the details and some of the intricacies of it and the benefits and how to use it, which is really important. So we've got a slideshow tonight. Again, this is going to be controlled by the folks at the home office in Lincoln or Omaha, Nebraska. And for those of you that don't know what I mean by that, David Letterman's top 10 list always came from the home office in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's why I say that, in case you're all wondering, like, what the heck is he talking about? So the slideshow is going to be worked remotely from Omaha tonight. So let's jump right in there, shall we? Look at that. Whoops. We need to go back to, there we go. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Slide number 1, folks. This is the new promotion. This is Vision 2020 or 2020 Vision, as we're calling it. It's a great program. For those of you that have had questions about it, again, some of the details, I wanted to go over that with you tonight. This is really huge, and what it's designed to do for this promotional period is to allow you to communicate to your ambassadors that we're doing everything we can, basically, to your potential ambassadors. And we're doing everything we can to make this work and make it easier for you, especially while you're getting started. We understand that there's a bit of a cycle, a bit of a sales cycle to this, the product and the business. A lot of people want to try the product and sample it for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes longer. A lot of them will then go on to say, well, if I try something and I believe in it, I can sell it. But until then, they're hesitant to jump on in some cases. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to lessen the burden as far as the commitment, as far as attracting some potential ambassadors. And what happens is from now until January 31st, and this also goes with current ambassadors, but I want to address that in a second too. Between now and January 31st, an ambassador that signs up is no longer going to be required to hit a simple ship of 150 BV points a month. We've dropped that to 99 BV. In terms of dollar amounts, that takes it anywhere from, I'm guessing, what, about 280, 285, something like that, with taxes and shipping and handling and all that kind of stuff, down to less than $200, including the shipping, handling, taxes, etc. You're still, I think, somewhere around 180 or something like that, 185. So it's less than $200. And this is designed to allow people to get in, get their spot in the tree, try the product for themselves. There's also a fair amount of education, as we've learned, that's required in terms of people's confidence in going out and selling it. So during that initial phase of education, trying the product, etc., we've reduced the burden, basically, as far as your commitment. Now, it is important to know that once they do reach their first pay level, and that does not include retail commissions. If you sign up, you will sell something retail, you'll make that retail commission even if you don't have your 2 ambassadors signed up on each leg. You'll always get those commissions. That does not affect this at all. You still get those commissions. What it's designed to do is help in the period it takes for you to get your business going. As I said, there's a bit of a sales cycle here. Reducing that to less than $200. We've already had, I think, quite a few people that had previously become inactive. And some of them cited, of course, the cost, and they were slow getting going. And listen, fact is, $250, $280 a month, if you're not yet making money, is a bit of a commitment. It's not specifically designed for current ambassadors to, go back and drop their Simpleship. However, it certainly is available to those of you that are trying, don't have your 2 people yet, have not gotten to your first pay level of $600 on each leg, which would get you $150. And so until then, your Simpleship commitment is reduced to less than $200. Again, you don't get the product. I still encourage you to talk to people and encourage them, and it's based again on their ambition level as far as their entry packs and things like that. In fact, I think this might be even more of a reason for people to get one of the other entry packs, as I did myself, several others, lots of others, like the $6.99 pack or the packages that are higher than that. I think it's important because they are going to need some product to sample and give to people and stuff like that. So I would encourage them to get one of the larger packs, but reducing that commitment, I think it takes some of the fear out of it for people. And as I said, especially around this time of year, it's a lot, especially if you have not gotten your business going yet. So make sure you jot down any questions you have about this, and we'll be sure to answer them. One important thing to know about this does not then revert back to your original Simpleship after the 31st. If an ambassador signs up tomorrow, their Simpleship obligation will be 99 BV per month. That is what their BV is going to be. Their BV commitment obligation is going to be until they get paid. It doesn't end on January 1st. It doesn't go back up to 250. I know we had some questions about that, and that's really important to know. So listen, guys, this is a great tool, and I'll tell you something. During a conversation I had today and subsequent previous conversations with Katie, I gotta tell you, and I'm not gonna take any credit for this necessarily, but I'll tell you what the corporate level is doing with this company, as far as all the things that are available to you. This promotion, for instance, no one else has ever done this. No one. So again, I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but you gotta really know what we have here, and we're dedicated to doing whatever we can to help you, again, build your business. Okay, so jot down any questions you might have, and we'll answer those at the end of our little, I won't call it my sermon, but let's just call it my fireside chat. So let's move on to the next slide. All right, we've got a couple of slides here. We now have live in your back office, underneath, I believe, library, postcards. We have 2 different postcards, and we're going to show you the front and back of each one. You do not need to purchase them through the company. We have decided to make them available to you that you can download and get printed out yourself. I would suggest at least a certain standard of stock with these, as opposed to just printing them out on your home computer. But you can run to a printing shop and get them printed up as postcards. There's 2 different postcards. Take a look at them. You can see that the approach is slightly different with each one. That little white box there that you saw to your right on the previous slide, that's where you can print out some labels. You can go out, and when you're going to print it, you can actually have them put your information in there on your website, your My Life Simple website. These can be sent out to people. These can be left anywhere you travel during the day, whether it's coffee shops, veterinarians' offices, wherever they'll let put them. Sometimes you don't even need permission. But we've actually had some people with a fair amount of success, retail and potential ambassadors, ultimately, that have seen these things and have called. This is a really, really important tool. Again, it's just something that maybe takes the takes some of the onus off you for doing all the work. As far as mailing them out, who to mail them to? Well, if you have your friends, it's a great way to, break the ice. For those people that you don't know, for instance, I suggest that you do some research. There are lists available, some of them for sale, some of them aren't for sale. But if you find, for instance, a Chamber of Commerce club, or one of our ambassadors belongs to a very large shepherd club with 1,200 members, for instance, and find out the list, and when you kind of approach people with this, you're not interrupting them as much, and you're not intruding on them. You're asking for permission in a very polite way to broadcast your message. It's a great way to break the ice, like I said. So whether it's again senior groups, whether you want to go put it outside, mailboxes in your apartment complex or at an apartment complex, just be creative. The sky's the limit here on how awesome these are. And again, they have 2 different messages, so I encourage you to look at those on your back office, print them out, get some made, and the thing that we're going to be talking a little bit about just briefly tonight, again, is the fact that what we're trying to do needs to be duplicatable. And that means this is not about, again, signing up 30 people. This is about 2 people. I find it kind of hard to believe, I don't mean to call anybody out, but I find it hard to believe that with some of these tools we have and the ones that are still to come in the next couple of weeks, these postcards, that out of 7 billion people in the world, we can't help you get your first 2 people. I don't know if I used this example with you before, but I used to say in golf, what does a 30-foot putt have in common with a 4-foot putt? That's the first 2 feet. Meaning if you yank a 2-foot, the first 2 foot on a putt, 4-foot putt, you're going to miss it. Same as a 30-foot putt. That's how this business is. Let's not approach this as a 30-foot putt. It's a 4-foot putt. Let's help you get your 2 people. And then help them get their 2 people. What it comes down to. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. We also have for you now a new document called Quick Start. That is also in your back office under your library. It is live and it is ready for you to look at now. I couldn't, when I was creating this slideshow, make it big enough to really see this, but it's 3 pages long and it's got instructions for, again, the first things that somebody can do and should do when they join the business. Again, we're looking at ways to make this duplicatable for you. So if some of you might actually need to go back and review this Quick Start. Some of you that are in the business but haven't gotten your 2 people. Have you done these things on this sheet? Again, it's a document that allows you to, again, communicate with potential ambassadors as far as another tool that's available for you. So I highly encourage taking a look at the Quick Start. The importance, and it comes down to getting a fast start or the right start. And, that's really important. Getting off to a good start, because when somebody enrolls as an ambassador, you probably were the same way I was. They're feeling excited and maybe a bit overwhelmed as far as, what do I do? And they're excited because their why is still at the top of their mind. They probably have, some big goals and objectives maybe for getting into the business, but it's also, overwhelming, especially for people that are starting a new business, especially in a new industry, and possibly marketing, our products that they're not fully familiar with, So it's our job basically to capture that excitement and turn it into action while helping diffuse some of those overwhelming feelings. That's what the Quick Start is about. First, it does 2 things really. First, it creates action by sharing exactly what they need to do to get their business off to a good start. And it just focuses on the basics, focuses on taking it 1 step at a time instead of overwhelming them with every single detail. And remember the phrase, you can't drink water from a fire hose. And the same can be said for the new ambassador that joins us. And they don't have to fully understand everything about the business or the industry to get started. So getting them off to a quick start is essential. Getting them off on the right start is the key to long-term success. So I encourage you to put this document to work in your business with all your ambassadors. I think you'll start seeing results. Like I said, I encourage those of you that haven't gotten their 2 people yet to go back and take a look for yourselves and maybe review this and apply it to your own business. All right, next slide. That's the second page. Oh no, that is the overcoming objections. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about a little bit after we've covered the new tools in the back office that is available to you. And I wanted to cover this first. This is part of the script library that we now have. We have a couple of other scripts as far as piquing interest and the next step with somebody. But I find this probably has the most value of all. I don't know how many of you have read it. I don't know how many of you have downloaded it. I don't know how many people read this every day because this is the most important, I think, component to building a business. And that is learning to overcome the objections. This is a 13-page document. This is just the front page that I put on there. And it has a extensive library of questions for those of you that haven't seen it yet. We've got product questions and we've got business questions as far as objections you would get possibly the product and objections you would get regarding becoming an ambassador. And so everything from, I've tried CBD before, it didn't work. The products are expensive. I'd like to try a sample. Will I get high? What about a drug test? Are they safe? I need proof they work, etc. And with the business, it's, the old P word like we talked about. Is it a pyramid scheme? I don't have the money. When can I get paid? I don't have any sales experience, etc. And it goes into detail and gives you an answer. Now, again, the key to these scripts, working with these scripts, is not to memorize it. It's to, and this is why I say read it every day, because you'll absorb the information rather than memorizing it. And I think it allows you to come off in a way that's a little more authentic when you are talking with somebody about it. In an approach that doesn't seem so salesy, as it were. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool, and I encourage you, all of you, to access it every day. Let's move to the next script, or the next slide. Okay, so I did want to break down a little bit and understand objections, where they come from, why people have them. I will say that, and we've talked about mindset a lot in the last couple of months on the Zooms, and I will say that everything does start with a positive mindset. So it's very important before you write an email to somebody, before you text, before you have any touch point at all to a potential customer or ambassador, you need to make sure your mindset is in the right place. It's really important, because if you go into a communication, again, whether it's a text, in a way that is less than positive and confident and believable and authentic, you're working against yourself in a very big way. So why do people raise objections? I pulled this off the internet, and it makes perfect sense. On a sale of any significance, the customer usually raises an objection because of a natural reluctance to change. Call it mental inertia. And the tendency to raise barriers undoubtedly stems from the same instinct which causes animals to assume a defensive attitude when they encounter strangers in their domain. I thought that was really, really interesting, because some people that you talk to, I don't care whether it's about plans for the weekend or whether you're talking to them about something like this, about the product or the opportunity, they get immediately defensive because something makes the hair in the back of their neck stand up. They get defensive as if, you're assuming you try to sell them something and yada, yada, yada. So it's interesting to know that that's where a lot of objections come from, is that fear of change, doing something new. If they've heard anything about direct marketing and have a bad experience themselves, or they've heard things or whatever else it is that they're kind of lugging around, that's something that needs to be kind of diffused. And a lot of times it's your it's your energy, your attitude about, and your belief in what you're doing that can help change that. Next slide. So objections can be generally classified into 4 types. And these are all really important. I didn't break these down on the slide, but number 1 is, of course, the price and the risk involved. That's pretty self-explanatory. The quality of the service or the product. In this case, it might be about the fact they don't know anything about CBD in general. They might not know anything about reaction. They might know a little bit about CBD in terms of some of the bad things out there as far as the bad products and some of the things people are saying. So they might have an objection based on that. And again, with these 4, remember, these are all covered in your scripts. The third one is trust and relationship. And that's their trust of you and their relationship with you. If you're talking to a friend, as I said, and this is going to be a bad example. I hope it's taken in the spirit in which it's intended. There's a gentleman I met long ago who had suffered with a rather severe drug addiction. He's clean and still clean, from what I know. Is involved in the business because the reaction products help him achieve that sobriety, which is really important. And I was talking to him one day in the office, and he said, it's hard because a lot of people, they don't really trust me. And I said, well, that's one thing we all have to kind of take stock of for ourselves. And I said to him, they might not trust you now because you can't go and talk about how great this stuff is after 2 weeks. You can't talk about it after a month. But 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll have the best story ever, which will help develop that trust. So it's kind of like, if you see somebody around town that that, I don't want to use any bad language, that's a kind of, let's just put underachiever, let's put it that way. Are you going to listen to what they're saying about something if they approach you with an opportunity? Probably not. So trust and relationship is a big, big part of it. Number 4 is the stall tactic, and that's just basically, putting you off. And that's also an objection. So that, again, no doesn't mean never. It means not right now. But if you're diligent about broadcasting your message and putting it in front of them, every chance you get, then that's important too. Let's go to the next slide. What are sales rejection words? This is kind of jumping around here a little bit, but I'm exploring this concept to help myself. Again, I found myself addressing objections before they even came up. I also found myself tiptoeing and trying to anticipate the fact that they might be feeling the same hesitancy that I did or I would. And when you do that, that's why I call making up somebody's mind for them. And it's important. A rejection word is any word that triggers fear or reminds prospects, people, friends, that you're trying to sell them something. Rejection words scare your prospects so much that most of them will reject you and your product or service. I don't have a slide for this, but I did find a list of 25 words to not use in business. And these are what we call rejection words. I'll make this available if anybody wants to see it. But for now, I'll go over them really briefly. Number 1, and I don't know these in any particular order because they're all pretty damaging. And you might see yourself in some of this because I know I did. First of all, the number word, honestly. Some of you have heard the joke about when you say, well, honestly. Well, to be honest with you, well, if I'm being honest, it suggests that everything you've said before this was untruthful. So let's stay away from the word honestly. Another word, I'm not sure it applies here, but it may. The word contract. I don't know if anybody uses the word contract, or even simple ship might be taken in the same way that the word contract is. So contracts, it seems contract or obligation or commitment seems very final. Instead, use the word agreement. So what you're doing is you're also agreeing to a simple ship each month of 99, a minimum of 99 BV, for instance. The word agreement works better there. Number 3, the word buy. Instead of buy, try the word own. And when you say own, it shows the end value of what they're getting, especially with regard to the business. Quite frankly, thank you, Rachel. Exactly. Quite frankly. So they're not just throwing money out the window. They're exchanging something in order to own something, which is either the product for use, but more importantly, to own their own business. That's important. Number 4, the word problem. When you hear the word problem, the immediate reaction is negative, even on a subconscious level. So you use the word challenge instead. Prospects. I know I've used that word probably about, if we had a nickel, every time I used it tonight, we'd all be able to get maybe a half of Starbucks. But they suggest using the word future clients instead. 6, the word hope. It shows that you're not sure when you use the word hope. So if you're not sure, why would they be? And this is the key. You've got to be 100% behind what you're sharing with these people, product-wise and business-wise. Number 7, the word don't. Using any negative when you're referring to your product or service is a no. So there's ways to, again, address objections, but putting it in a positive way. As a little just a detour here, it's what I mentioned before when I said reframing. Reframing is basically the cognizant art of approaching something from a different perspective and seeing the same situation differently. It's also taking a statement and rewording it. It's also a tremendously helpful sales tool if you can understand and grasp the concept of reframing. Because here's an example. I could talk about my latest failed relationship, for instance. And I could say, well, that was a waste of time. I just wasted 1.5 years of my life. Or I could say, you know what? Sorry it didn't work out, but look at how much I learned, and look at how much I learned about myself. So it's just a different, again, the concept is called reframing. So let's see here. Number 8, the word obviously. These are really good people. I don't know if you're getting as much out of this as I got, but the word obviously. Some people may take this word as a condescending word, as in they're not smart enough to understand. And I know sometimes during my conversations or presentations, I tend to speed things up, and I probably may or may not have used the word obviously before. I'm going to skip number 9, really doesn't apply. Number 10, the word maybe. Again, it's a soft, passive word. It doesn't instill confidence. And again, guys, I got to tell you, if you're not confident about this, if you're not confident about yourself, they're not going to be either. So that's what it comes down to when you say you make a decision. Be confident about this. So passive words like maybe, no. You need to be confident in the whole presentation. Words like maybe don't help your cause. Number 12, cost. Here's an interesting one, the word cost. Because that also, like the word contract, implies something as well. And the suggested phrase is actually total investment or investment, which is a much better way to communicate what it is that we're sharing with them here. They really are investing in themselves. Number 13, just like maybe, the word perhaps. Just like maybe you don't want any wishy-washy words in your presentation. Number 14, guarantee. A guarantee doesn't really mean anything, so stay away from guarantees and promises, I would say. 15, discount. This is important because not that we offer discounts, but it is just an example of how you can devalue what we're doing. You can devalue the product. You can devalue the opportunity. So you want to stay away from using words like that. 16, the word cheaper. I don't even need to say anything about that. So things like cheap, etc. If anything, you can say less expensive, or the market value suggests that we have a superior product. Number 17, the word competitor. Again, that's what I'm very careful to do on the Zoom, but certainly when I'm talking to somebody else, unless it's a private conversation that somebody has asked about, I don't talk about the competitors a lot, certainly in a way that puts them down. You certainly don't want to put them down in order to build yourself up. 18, the word price. Again, the word investment is a much better choice. I'm going to skip 19, 20. When we're communicating with people we're having conversations with, we don't use the word objections. We're going to use the word area of concern, or the phrase area of concern, or a concern. So what I hear you saying is you're concerned about the monthly simple ship and the investment on that level. And you just, again, that's an example of reframing. 23, number 23 is the word pitch. So I don't know if anybody's called it a pitch or your spiel or whatever else. This is a presentation, and you are sharing an opportunity. And again, there's a psychological reason to all of this. Number 24, customers. I know we use the word customers a lot. We use it at the office. We use it on some of the documents. But I think it's much more impactful to use the word client or the people that we serve. Last word, advice. Not everybody's looking for advice. Instead, if you're telling a story in terms of sharing a message with them, you might say that somebody had a similar experience in the past, as opposed to having it come right out as advice. I hope those are valuable to you. Like I said, I can make this list available to anybody who wants it. I think it's really, really, really cool. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. Okay, the 4 steps to overcoming objections. Again, it does start with belief in the product, belief in what we're doing, belief in the company, and belief in yourself. But the 4 steps to overcoming objections, and this, again, it's covered in detail in the script. But number 1 is to listen closely. Certainly you want to guide the presentation. You don't want somebody to hijack it by giving them the floor, as it were. But you also need to listen closely. And sometimes you need to read between the lines too, in terms of understanding what their areas of concern might be. So listen closely, identify their why, and address any or identify any areas of concern. After that, ask the right questions. Again, it's in the script. Asking the right questions the right way will help you lead them to making a decision. Remember, some of them can't even help the fact that they're defensive when they first sit down. They don't even know that they're defensive. They don't know that they have an existing mindset. So help lead them to making a decision. Number 3, know your product. And again, we've talked about this. There's a lot to know about the product, about the industry, about all that stuff, but hopefully we're doing what we can to give you as much information as possible. Because knowing your product and sharing it in a way that's not salesy, but addresses the benefits that somebody might experience from the product itself with regard to their health, but also their introduction to the business. So know your product. Our product is the Reaction product line. It's also the My Life Simple business. That's your product too. Next slide. And finally, the number 1 way to deal with objections. Does anybody know what it is? Let's go to the next slide. Don't take it personally. This is so huge, and I saved it for last for obvious reasons. What's the worst thing that could happen? Are you acting out of fear when you hesitate to mention it to somebody? When you hesitate because you don't know how to bring it up? When you hesitate because you don't think you know enough about the product or the opportunity? You can't take it personally. A lot of times when you're acting out of fear in that way, you are again kind of creating your own objections. So I would say just as important as writing down your why, I encourage all of you, and again, it makes it real when you write it down. Write it down on a card, put it on your bathroom mirror. I would also write down your top 3 fears in terms of what's holding you back. And again, it could be holding you back in terms of hesitancy to talk about it, or to take action, or to make a step. What are your fears? If your fear is, well, because here's the deal, you're all signed up, right? So what process did you go through when you signed up? What was it that caused you to go, I'm gonna pull the trigger here. I'm gonna do this because I think the product's great, and I think ultimately I can make a lot of money. Both of which are true. So it might be an understatement to say, you're looking for people like you, but there are personality types that do this. You need to have an entrepreneurial spirit. You've got to be an optimist. And before we wrap up this portion, I posted something the other day, and it said the key to success is believing that you can do something, knowing you deserve it. And I forget what the third thing was, but the thing that struck me about that was believing that you can do it. If I told you, and this is, let's just say, other direct marketing companies, I believe network marketing is responsible for creating more new millionaires every year than any other industry, by the way, in the world, besides maybe politics. That's my political joke. Millionaires are made direct marketing when they believe in themselves, they have a good system, they have a good company, and they have a good product. So let's just say for a second that we know for a fact, might be some of the people on the Zoom right now, might be me, might be you. Are you going to be a millionaire? The reason I ask this is that, do you deep down believe that you can do it? And I'm not talking about paying for your product. I'm talking about creating a business here where you can make a lot of money. Is that you? Do you see yourself? And you gotta dig deep here, and it's not a surface answer I'm looking for. I don't want you to answer like, well, yeah, I believe it, when really you don't. And I'm here to tell you, it can be you. You can do it. So can I. Because we have all the components. We've got a great, innovative product. We've got the best company, the best comp plan, and we're just getting started. So write down top 3 fears. What are you afraid of? Looking foolish? Somebody like turning the other way when you approach them? All I know is I believe in this so much now. Again, don't take it personally. Somebody doesn't want to listen? Next. On you go. And again, it's a 4-foot putt. So I'm not only going to encourage you, I'm going to end this year by challenging all of you with the tools that we have in place, with the new postcards, with the scripts, with the library of videos. Let's break it down. If you don't have your first 2 people, let's get them. And like I said, the best way to build your business is to get you 2 people and help them succeed. And I really believe in that. Anyway, so I don't know if we didn't go too long tonight, but I'm not sure if Billy has anything he wants to jump in with right now before we open it up to questions.
Always. Jeff, thank you so much. That was very helpful. A couple of notes I took down. It seems like every day there's at least 1 or maybe 2 new tools that are available in our back office. That is so important. It helps us all so much as ambassadors, things that are obviously coming out to make our jobs a little bit easier. Not to mention the scripts. I think the biggest thing is the 99BV, the Vision 2020 promotion going on. That, I don't think anybody understands the importance of that. If you do, thank you. If you look on here into the chat bar, you see what Jenny Flowers wrote. That stuck out to me. She had an ambassador that was signed up, that's trying to get her business started up. that ended up getting rid of her Simple Ship just because the month to month was so expensive for her. What reaction My Life Simple just created for us is huge. That just reduced their monthly cost by almost $100. That's a lot of money, especially while you're trying to get off on your feet and get your business built up. So as Jeff mentioned, that's something that if you take advantage, that ends January 31st. But if you get in now, or you get new ambassadors to join in now, as Jeff mentioned also, you're going to be locked in at that 99 BV until you earn your first check from the back end of the business, not retail commission. So until you get your business going, you're going to be locked in at that 99 BV and you earn your first check. That is so, so, so important. I wish that was around, when I was first getting ambassadors signed up. That's something that they just did that will help us a lot. I think right now you're going to be around a lot of people during the holiday season. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, practice it. If nothing else, use these scripts, use your tools that you're being given now to practice on the people that are in your life. There's no bigger supporters than the people that know and love and trust you. Aunt Pam may be a supporter. She may want to be an ambassador. She may not, but she's going to listen to you. So use that time to kind of, I'm not going to use the word pitch out because Jeff just taught me a lot about the words to do's and don'ts to be using in this business. But just share this. Be proud of what you're doing. Be proud like Jeff and like I am, like a lot of other ambassadors are so excited to be doing this and so proud of what they're doing. I want to tell you a little bit just quickly about the scripts. So I've been doing a lot of things as an ambassador. I ran a home meeting and used all the videos that are available in the back office just to see if I could do that. Played a few videos, showed them the comp plan video. That seemed to work pretty well. So I just want to do it to be able to share that with everyone, and it worked pretty well. I signed up quite a few ambassadors there. But the scripts have every objection. That's something that not only will it pump you up to be able to ask the right questions, but it'll give you the right answers. And obviously our biggest fear is getting turned down or told no. Let the scripts have your back, because they do. And if there's anything that you see on there that you've been asked or for some reason doesn't show up on there, let support know. That tool is there to help all of us as ambassadors and make our jobs a little bit easier. So other than that, I just want to wish everybody again a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you. Feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, he touched on something. I want to say, if you get the scripts, guys, and especially all three of them, certainly, but certainly objections, because those are the kind of things that can kind of throw you, during a presentation if you don't feel confident. I would suggest get a friend. And it's not even about some sort of, tricky, manipulative way to get them to hear your presentation, although they will. If you ask a friend saying, listen, this is what I'm doing, I believe in it, but I'm really learning on how to communicate it and how to broadcast it. Would you do some role play with me? And I think that's something all of you should do, and have them play devil's advocate. Have them ask all the questions and raise all the areas of concern that a normal person would, that will help you, again, in a simulated real life situation. We do have some giveaways, which are we gonna do those now? 4 questions and answers. Let me pull those up. It's just in from the home office in Omaha. We've got a full-size orange tincture that tonight is going to Alyssa Tamasy. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Congratulations, Alyssa. She's a new ambassador too.
Oh, is
Team
Alyssa
Rachel.
from Team Rachel?
Yeah.
Well, look at
Team
that.
Rachel.
Nicely done.
Congratulations.
And we have a T-shirt that is going to Mary Coulter.
All right. Mary's still with us.
And if Mary's still with us, Mary, we will need, yeah, the fudge is awesome. I still love that key lime, man, with that little graham cracker crust. Man. So Mary, we will need your size for your T-shirt before you go. So make sure you get that to us. And also, I hope you stick around for questions and answers. All right, kids. So my question now, we covered a lot tonight. I'm sure we have a bunch of questions. Who would like to go first?
Come on now. The chat bar is blowing up over this fudge.
Does anybody have any questions about the promotion? Again, how to use it, how to employ that, and it does. The reason we put a period on that is because we do want to make sure people don't look at it as something that we're going to be doing forever. We are trying it from a corporate standpoint to see if we can again encourage people and make it easier for you to draw people into the business. And that's why we put the end date on it,
Okay.
January 31st, to
I've
create
got a-
some sense of urgency for people.
I've got a
Hi,
question.
Kim.
Yeah, I want to make sure I understood the January promotion. It ends on the 31st.
Correct.
That's 99 BV points up until that point for anybody that signs on now, correct?
No.
Anybody
If
that
we-
signs on now, but also anybody that's a current ambassador. Again, if you're feeling the pinch and you need to go back to the 99, then by all means use it as a tool for new ambassadors. Current ambassadors, if you are still getting started and still educating yourself and want to take advantage of that, you can take advantage of it as well. I did want to say it's Kim, right, that I'm talking to.
Yes.
That if anybody has anybody on their team who has gone inactive because of the cost, I think Jenny may have written some. And like I said, that we've got quite a few people have already re-engaged with the new promotion. I would make sure you reach out to them. It's just another touch point. Again, even people that have gone inactive doesn't mean no, they're never getting back in. Just meant not at the moment. So this might be the kind of thing that gets them a little stirred up again. So I would suggest everybody contact your downlines if you have anybody that's gone inactive, and at least make sure that they know about this to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I want to touch on that too. So obviously it's available to everybody that's not currently active and getting checks, earning commissions. But the thing to remember is each month we all as ambassadors pay our dues and get our simple ships. That BV that you're spending is also building your business. So you may not be getting paid on that today or tomorrow, but maybe in a month you're going to get paid on it, or a few months as you continue to learn and build. That is where I love the BV. I love the simple ship myself, because each month I'm getting paid back for what I'm putting in, and that's huge. So just remember that. And kind of the thing that I'm comparing this to is when we learn how to tie our shoes, we're not doing loops, swoops, and pulls and doing it without our eyes, without watching. It's something that we learn, and we're going to learn this and pick it up, and pretty soon you become very good and fluent at it. This is just like learning to tie your shoes and learn to ride a bike. You don't start off on top of the mountain. You got to build up there. So that BV is building along with us. But I do think, and I'm just like everybody else. I've had ambassadors that have come in, joined, and it was a little bit too expensive for them each month. So I have approached people that have dropped out, and I've actually got a few of them to sign back up. They love it. They're very passionate. A lot of people are passionate about the products, but it is a little bit of an expense. So that's where this is so special, and I can't praise how amazing this is for us as ambassadors to be able to offer this. So take advantage of it, because come January 31, it's 150 BV. So make sure you stress that importance during the holidays and as you continue to talk to people over the next month.
Hey, Billy, Jeff, it's Rachel. I got to say something or a few things. I don't have any questions because you guys make it super clear. And, I've missed maybe one Zoom since you started this. But I do have one recommendation, Jeff, in January. If you could show or somehow show people how to comment in the chat of the Zoom. I've had a few ambassadors ask how to do that, and they want to comment. Zoom is kind of an app, right? That not everyone's using. So I just wanted to point that out. I took some screenshots, and I'm going to send it to my team because I comment in the Zoom, and I know you like reading those. So just a note there. Let's see. I love the postcards, you guys. I cannot wait to get in my back office after the Zoom and look at these and determine, I have a Kinko, so I'm thinking of using them, and you're right, getting my information pre-printed on those. I just recently, Jeff, you and I haven't talked in the last few days, but I just recently signed up for an event locally. It's like 20 minutes from my house at a theater, a tiny little theater where it's a network marketing event. They're bringing in some key speakers. David and I are going. It's January 11th. And I said, anything we can do. They're not, having vendor tables or anything. And she's like, well, if you want to put something in our swag bags, our give out bags. So those postcards are going to be perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the leave behind idea. Like, we all go to a chiropractor. We all go to, a gym or whatever it would be. So my mind is 24/7 thinking where I'm going to leave these behind and not be afraid to ask. But I love the topic about duplicating your system. I want to look at myself as being a leader for my team, not, somebody telling them what to do, but showing them what to do. So I made a big note on that, how to duplicate my system and keep improving that, because attraction marketing, and Billy, you're doing a great job, and Jeff too, curiosity posts, all of that is great. You're looking for something. I just recently heard this term called social currency. Have you ever heard of that before?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. Meaning people love your post so much that they're sharing it. And that's what I'm seeing sometimes, right? People are sharing my posts. So think about what you're going to post. And I just wanted to make a note on that. And there's some real currency there, because when they share it, it's getting in front of all of their friends. And gosh, Jeff, I want your hit list of those words, because there were some I hadn't heard of before. But those are just some things. I'm just really working on my leadership style, helping my team. I had 3 or 4 people join the call tonight. I'm super excited. That means they care about this and they want a better future. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And thanks again, as always, Rachel. And you brought up some great points. And thank you for your appreciation and the kind words for what we're trying to accomplish here. So, and as I said,
thank you, Rachel. You're amazing. You've been since this has started. We really appreciate you getting on here, and you're always outspoken and make sure that you kind of ask the questions for the other ambassadors too. So that's something that's very important. And Jeff, I gotta tell you, Jeff's vocabulary list, that's my entire vocabulary. So I gotta learn how to start all over here.
Good. And Billy, maybe we can make sure. In fact, how do we communicate clearly on how to use the chat bar for the people that would like to speak up, but would rather write it rather than.
So just to sum it up real quick, sometimes when you're sitting there, your screen will go sort of blank where you can only see the active speaker. There's different ways. Obviously, we could probably figure out how to do a crash course on Zoom. But as you run your scroller down to the bottom, kind of right to the center there, you're going to see a little chat. If you click on that, it's going to pop the chat bar up, and then you'll see a blue bar at the bottom of that where you can chat to people privately or everyone as a group. So make sure that you kind of explore that. And there's ways. What I suggest to everybody is to learn how to use Zoom, and share this with new ambassadors too as you get people to enroll. Go on to Zoom and do a one-on-one Zoom to teach them how to operate it. Because it is a little frustrating when you're trying to join in on something and learn and you don't know what you're doing. So jump on there. Zoom is free. I believe you just have to download it or go to their website, jump right on there. So that is something. Zoom is very important, not only for the Tuesday night reaction corporate meetings or Wednesday with the products, but personally too. As you want to talk to people that are, maybe a few states away, it's way more personal to be able to jump on there and be face to face rather than just on a phone.
Yeah, and one of the upcoming tools that we have also, and that's a great point as far as really learning how to work Zoom, because everybody, you don't need 30 people on a Zoom. In fact, it's a great way to communicate, like you said, with somebody who has kids or can't get out and doesn't want to go to a coffee shop. say, listen, let's get on a Zoom conference. Just meet up on Zoom for 20 minutes. We also have a new tool coming out that's taking a little bit longer because it's so important. It's going to be basically what we call a one-page business overview. Hopefully, it will be the basics about how to share the business on one page. We are also going to be doing, that might be a great companion piece, we're going to be making a video which will have the appearance of a Zoom, and it's as if an ambassador said to me, hey, Jeff, would you get on a Zoom with this person? So we're going to record that so that you can actually use that to send the link to people. It won't be live, of course, it'll be recorded. But you can actually send the link to somebody that can basically watch the presentation as outlined in the scripts, as we mentioned, along with a slideshow for that will be in your back office apparently.
More tools. Thank
More
you.
tools.
Reaction. Wow. It's unbelievable.
And finally, again, guys, it's not a 30-foot putt. It's two people. That's when, Rachel, you talked about being duplicatable. That's what makes this work, is if you can do something, keep it simple. It's not about reinventing the wheel. You do have to be creative, of course, but this is about getting two people, helping them get two people, and helping your person or your two people help their two people get two people. It sounds a bit trite, but it's true, and that's what makes this work, about creating a team. So we talk about having high goals and high aspirations and setting your objectives high, but at the same time, take a step back and look at it from a bit of a wider perspective. The way you build a solid foundation, and don't think this is the wrong way, anybody. As I've said, we have somebody now. It's not a secret who I'm talking to. That does very, very well in retail. And I know that's part of the process, and hopefully those customers can eventually convert. But the foundation strong foundation for this business is converting them into ambassadors. And again, get your two, help them get your two. And that's really important.
Jeff, we want to remind everybody too about the product Zoom tomorrow night.
Billy, it's Lindy. I just wanted to say about the product Zoom tomorrow night. Victoria and I are going to read off the scripts tomorrow night. We're going to role play the scripts. So anybody that wants to watch, print your scripts off so you can have them in your hands, and we're going to read the script for script and show you how to use when you're talking to somebody, how to use them. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow night, and we'll talk a little bit about the product before the year closes out.
Awesome, Lindy. Thank you. All right, guys. Any other questions before we go? All right. I hope you end this year, 2019, in a really positive, powerful way. Let's get a jump on 2020, and let's look at 2020 as the year that we're all going to get going with this and make some money, because I think it's entirely in all of our futures if we just stick to this, keep using the tools, and believe in what we're doing. So on that note, say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. And that's right. Get your people in before January 31st.
That's right.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.